Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are addressing an urgent priority in higher education: navigating assessment, verification, and academic integrity in the generative AI era. The integration of this technology requires a profound paradigm shift in how we evaluate student learning, particularly within STEM disciplines. We must recognize that generative AI fundamentally alters the conditions of academic work. Students now have access to robust support for technical tasks, ranging from writing and coding to executing complex problem-solving steps and calculations. Because of this assistance, universities are compelled to systematically rethink what our assessments are truly designed to measure. We simply can't assume a completed assignment is solely the result of independent human effort. And this highlights a significant disconnect between legacy, product-only assessments and our current reality. Consider a polished final answer. It might look perfectly correct, but that final product can easily mask a student's complete lack of understanding regarding the underlying reasoning, assumptions, methods, or validation processes. If we only evaluate the submitted product, measuring true comprehension becomes incredibly difficult. Now, STEM fields demand special attention in this landscape. In these disciplines, assessment is about much more than just arriving at a correct final answer. STEM relies heavily on technical accuracy, logical reasoning, reproducibility, modeling, and rigorous code quality. Furthermore, an acceptable AI-generated output cannot substitute for the human judgment required to ensure safety and professional accountability. This reality necessitates a vital conceptual shift. We must redefine verification as a primary learning outcome. We need to teach students that AI-supported work is strictly provisional until it has been rigorously tested. Students must learn the disciplined practice of inspecting assumptions, reproducing calculations, debugging code, checking sources, and thoroughly evaluating models. Verification has to become a central, explicit component of the curriculum. Naturally, this redefinition extends to our concept of academic integrity. The conversation must move beyond the limited goal of simply detecting AI use, which often misses deeper educational objectives. Instead, academic integrity should focus on whether AI was used transparently, responsibly, and in ways that genuinely support the learning process rather than bypass it. To make this work, institutions have to establish clear expectations regarding acceptable and unacceptable AI use. Importantly, a universal policy will not be effective here. These expectations must vary depending on the specific discipline, the course level, the type of task, and the distinct learning objective. What is strictly prohibited in an introductory class might be acceptable or even required in an advanced seminar, provided the process is well documented. So, how do we adapt our evaluations? By implementing process-based assessment methods. We need to look at process documentation, oral defenses, and technical walkthroughs. We can utilize staged submissions, detailed lab notebooks, annotated code, and comprehensive verification reports. These strategies shift our focus away from the final product, making the actual learning visible and allowing us to assess genuine analytical skill. Of course, transitioning to these methods requires deliberate institutional support. Faculty need practical guidance to redesign assessments so they evaluate reasoning without adding an unsustainable workload. At the same time, we must actively support students, offering clear instruction on professional documentation, rigorous verification techniques, and responsible AI application. Ultimately, a responsible approach requires a balanced institutional response. Unrestricted AI use without required verification undermines academic validity. On the other hand, defensive prohibition ignores the realities of AI-augmented professional practice and leaves our students completely unprepared for the modern workforce. The balanced path aligns our assessments with transparent expectations and strict disciplinary standards. Which brings us to a foundational conclusion. In STEM higher education, assessment must increasingly ask not just what students produced, but how they produced it, how they checked it, and crucially, whether they can defend it. Our core objective is to strengthen habits of rigorous reasoning, transparent documentation, and professional judgment. These institutional models and pedagogical transformations are explored extensively in the source text for this explainer, Assimilating Generative AI in STEM Higher Education by Dr. Yaron Ghilay. Academic leaders, strategists, and policymakers are encouraged to review the book for deeper insights. As we move forward, how will your institution ensure that its assessments measure true professional readiness? Thank you for joining this explainer.